I love a good documentary, but one thing I love more is a documentary that is game changing right now in society, and that brings me to Split at the Root. What's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're reviewing the film Split at the Root, making its world premiere at South by Southwest Film Festival 2022. Man, this was a very moving and telling documentary. And as I said, I love a good documentary, but when you watch one that really exposes and educates current events right now in society, there's nothing better than that. And this is a very interesting one, because I'll be the first to say that from my media exposure to the subject matter here, I am wrong, and I feel like I've been misled. And I'm so glad I was able to watch this documentary to truly expose the facts and the events of things that are happening. And I'm going to be I'm going to be a little bit uncandid with this one. But because like I got to bring my own personal feelings into it, because that's what this documentary tapped into. But Split at the Root is a story of a Guatemalan mother, Jenny, who is seeking asylum into the United States, but separated from her kids because of the zero tolerance policy, which is just, it's a very unspeakable thing, but we'll come back to that. But a Facebook post that was by a mom in Queens quickly gained the momentum and attention from thousands of people, which ultimately became the creation and them formulating their new group, the IFT, which is the Immigrant Families Together organization, in which this organization, they are taking money to post bonds for these women to help them reunite with their kids. I gotta say, my assumptions of what immigration is and what was happening at the borders, I was never fond of it, don't get me wrong, but had no clue to what degree what was happening at the borders. And that's really where, when you think about being an American, it's really an unspeakable shame. This is not the way we handle immigration here. We shouldn't separate, mothers from their kids. What does that solve, And then the other big thing I got from this is like, when you think about, why are people trying to enter the United States? This is our country, whatever the whole narrative. Like, I get it. America is the land of opportunity, the home of the free. But with this story, especially with Jenny, when you really get to hear from these folks to understand why, it changes your mind about everything. I mean, she left her two daughters because the cartel pretty much put a ransom on them, on her kids, to say, if you don't pay us, we're going to take your kids and make them join us. And she had already lost her partner because of the cartel. So now they're targeting her and trying to exploit her for more money. And not only just that, saying if you don't pay, then we're going to take your kids. And eventually, if their kids enters this gang, then they're going to die. So she had to leave her daughters in order to protect her two kids, her two boys. I mean, talk about the levels of sacrifice in here. I don't know, man. It's really heartbreaking, to be honest. But there is a lot of good in this documentary, because when you talk about Julie, her husband Francisco, and even her friend Evelyn, these group of folks that came together to start the immigration family together, this was just something that they thought was going to start by just getting this one mother back with her kids, but it gained so much momentum and tons of more money came out. So thus they were able to help more and more family, where they would go post bond, get these people out of the detention centers, and then start the process in reuniting them with their kids. And not just as that is just a good seamless thing. I mean, this also creates a little bit of a target on their back, because now this is giving all sorts of different people hope, and that's not good. And detention centers are definitely getting very creative into trying to disrupt her services and her plans, which is just really a sickening thing. And then New York becomes a city of hope, where we're seeing more and more people getting an opportunity to reunite with their kids. But not only just that, now they got to try to figure out how to survive in America without documents and so on. It's a whole process, you know. But my heart was just poured for Julie with Jenny, and then the other mothers that they talk about in this, Rosie and her two kids as well too, because and Jenny is such a sweetheart, because for everything that she's been through, she then goes back to help other families after her. Like after she reunited with her kids, her job wasn't done. Then she became part of the effort into trying to help others. And Jenny, I mean, when they talk about her memory and like memorizing all of the different women that she was in the detention center with and where they were from, I mean, she's an angel on earth. Even with her trying to fight her own battles, she was absolutely trying to help people the entire time. And you know, I believe in karma, and this was one of those type of things where like she did good, so good came back to her. And I think that, you know, this really showed the really good side of humanity here. People like to focus on the negativity with karma, but like the good side here is where I'm going at with that. Is there good karma? Of course there is. And I think that, you know, that's what Jenny focus was just thinking about others, even when she was going through all of this herself. And then Julie and Francisco, again, I mean, they dedicated their entire lives to this now. It went from just, again, an initiative to just help one person to now wanting to help more and more and more people. And there is still 2,000 other kids with the reunification status and still unknown to people. And just the impact this separation causes for everybody involved, like, it's still a lot more work to be done. Because the government's not doing it, so these folks are. It's a beautiful documentary. It gives you so much information. It gives you hope. It makes you want to figure out how can you make a difference and impact these families in a good way. Because, you know, again, for my thoughts and for my, shall I say, ignorance as to what was happening at the borders, this documentary truly exposed a lot of the truth on the ground level, testimonies from these families involved and the ones that are really putting everything on the line to help them. And it's a beautiful thing. So folks, this is a no-brainer. Go check this out. And I should add, because I do need to talk about the film in its own, the production, the testimonies, everything that puts together for a good documentary, this one excels. Like it truly hits all the feelings, all the emotions, all the information, all of the necessary peoples of interest. It's raw, but it's the truth. So totally check it out. Split at the Root. Jump in the comments, let me know your thoughts about this once you do, and as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.
Big gold bell,